Good afternoon. I'm Paul Bishop, the newly elected chair of NeoMed Board of Trustees. Who would have thought that my first official job in this role would be to say goodbye to President Gershen on the occasion of his retirement? Timing's never been my strong suit, Jay. Jay, you've been a great leader, colleague, mentor, and friend to so many in NeoMed community. Today we're going to hear from a few who represent the many threads of the impact that you have had in Northeast Ohio and beyond. Before I call our first speaker, I'm pleased to introduce the federal and state elected officials who are either here today, represented by a member of their office, or provided proclamations in honor of Jay Gershen. Please stand or raise your hand as I say your name or the office that you represent. We ask that you hold your applause until everyone's been mentioned. With us today is State Representative Randy Kleitz, Monica Blasdell, representing the office of Lieutenant Governor John Husted, Josh Prest, representing the office of U.S. Senator Rob Portman, Kayla Atchison, representing the office of Congressman Anthony Gonzalez. And Jay has received proclamations from the following: Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted, U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown, U.S. Congressman Anthony Gonzalez, Ohio Senator John Eklund, Ohio Auditor Keith Faber, and State Representative Randy Kleitz. We'd like to recognize and ask all other local and state elected officials who are in attendance, as well as Bruce Johnson, who serves as president of Ohio's Inter-University Council, to stand or raise their hands. Now you may apply the thunderous applause. While we don't have time to read the many proclamations received, I want to share some excerpts from a few of them. From Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted. On behalf of the state of Ohio, we join with your colleagues in congratulating you on your retirement after 43 years of community service, including 10 years as president of Northeast Ohio Medical University. Thank you for your dedication and best wishes as you embark upon your well-deserved retirement. From Senator John Eklund, you have clearly shown the potential of each person to have a positive effect on the quality of life in our society, and your tenure has been marked as an era of integrity and prosperity. We applaud you for your paramount service and salute you as a fine Ohioan. And you thought you're going back to Colorado. From U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown, congratulations on your retirement and thank you for your years of service. And from U.S. Senator Rob Portman, who sent this video message to Jay.
Hi, Jay. This is your friend, Senator Rob Portman. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you in person, but congratulations on your retirement. After a decade as president of NeoMed, you've done an awesome job. I want to thank you for your leadership at what's become an important and innovative hub of health science studies. Between the expansions of school facilities and the introduction of new partnerships and programming we've talked so much about, you've left NeoMed in great shape for your successor. And from what I've heard, you and Carol kind of liked spending your last few months on campus with the students, living in on-campus housing. What a great experience that must have been. I've always enjoyed working with you on the important issues, not just affecting the campus, but also affecting Northeast Ohio in general, whether it's combating the opioid epidemic or ensuring Camp Garfield has the resources it needs to complete its critical national security mission. You've been a pillar, Jay, of the Northeast Ohio community, and I know you'll continue to be an outsized presence in Rootstown, even after you retire. So I look forward to continuing to work with you. Congrats again on your time here and your countless accomplishments. Best of luck in what comes next. Hope to see you soon. Godspeed.
Also, please join me in thanking and applauding all of our public officials who've proven to be just as kind in their support of NeoMed as they have been in their appreciation for Jay's contributions to education, research, service throughout Northeast Ohio and beyond. Join me in thanking all of them. Will my associates on the NeoMed Board of Trustees, as well as any former NeoMed trustees, all stand or raise your hand if you are here today? Jay, if I may speak for all of us trustees, many of us are trustees who have and still do serve on several boards. And there is no leader who is more trusted, more collaborative, and more engaged than you. We love you, and we will miss you. And of course, I want to recognize Carol Cannon, Jay's wife. Stand up a minute if you would for me, Carol. Carol, starting tomorrow, he's all yours. And frankly, I'd like a receipt if I could get one. As you know, NeoMed could not exist without our dozens of hospitals and pharmacy partners. Please join me in welcoming my friend, Bill Considine, CEO Emeritus of Akron Children's Hospital, to provide the perspective of NeoMed's clinical partners. Bill?
Well, thank you, Paul. Doesn't he have a great radio voice? He is a dear friend. You know, as I was visiting with many friends here, it did occur to me that NeoMed is part of my DNA. I've had the privilege of serving Akron Children's for 40 years. And in that capacity, I've also had the privilege of working with every dean or president of our medical university. So my perspective relative to Jay Gershen is one I'd like to share. But I'm here speaking also for all my colleagues that are part of those partner hospitals. And I know a few of them are with us tonight. Steve Kalecki is with us. I know he sat through many meetings over the years. Tom Strauss is also with us. Again, someone that truly believes in the mission of NeoMed. And Grace Wakulchik, who's my successor, she was here, and again, someone that believes in the meaningful work that plays out each and every day here at our medical university. You know, as I was thinking about a couple of comments, I reflected on a meeting I had with Dr. Lois Nora as we were wrapping up her time here at Neo-UCOM, which became NeoMed. And Lois was sharing with me how excited she was about the man that was going to be coming in to pick up the mantle from her. She told me about his energy level and said that it'd be hard for me to keep up with it. She also reminded me that in many of my talks I mentioned that status quo is our worst enemy. And she assured me that Dr. Jay Gershen was not one that was ever satisfied with status quo. So she told me to fasten the seatbelt because we were going to have a fun ride coming down the pike. Then I had the real privilege of meeting Jay for the first time. And from that first meeting, I knew that this man believed in collaboration. I knew that this man figured out that the only way we could get to another level is by doing it together. He took the time to meet with all the hospitals and listen to our mission, understand our heritage, and want to get an insight into our strategies to deal with the challenges we were facing. He had appreciation for that. And after he had met with all the collaborative hospitals, all the partner hospitals, oftentimes he knew more relative to what might bring us together than we did, because he was meeting with all of us. And he was able to find the common ground that we could gather on. And I just noticed Ed Roth here too, another real partner over the years with our program. And because of Jay's understanding of the challenges that faced all the hospitals, we could gather on that common ground and figure out ways that we could advance the missions of all our organization, and most importantly to Jay, provide a student experience that was second to none. Because that's what he was here to make sure played out each and every day, the best in medical education for our pharmacy students and for our medical students. And because of that, we saw enormous success, we saw enormous investment that's played out here on our campus. That's the vision that this man brought to the table and was very persistent in staying on. And I know from the perspective of our organizations, a lifeline for all the missions of our hospitals are recruitment of medical staff, young men and women that matriculate through Neo-UCOM that then become the heart and soul of our hospitals here in the region. Children's Hospital, we would not have the primary care network that is the envy of this country without our partnership with NeoMed. We would not have that network without Jay Gershen's belief in our strategy and his assistance in us pulling that strategy and making it reality. And on the other hand, the medical school would not have its strength without us being available to train 100% of the students that matriculate through this wonderful program. So Jay, thank you. Thank you for your belief in our community. Thank you for your belief in our people. Thank you for sharing your energy and making sure I kept that seatbelt strapped as you took us through a lot of fun times on a roller coaster here or there. But folks, we have a torch that's burning very bright, and our future is very, very bright because of this man and his leadership. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. So very well spoken. When Jay arrived at NeoMed, we had just added the colleges of pharmacy and graduate studies. Under his leadership, NeoMed welcomed the first graduating classes from both new colleges. NeoMed also expanded enrollment in the College of Medicine, as well as its pathway footprint into Cleveland. Its growth was unprecedented. It is now my pleasure to recognize Dr. Corey Stofko, College of Medicine 2006, a clinical professor of pediatrics and president of the NeoMed Alumni Foundation. Maybe it is illuminated. Maybe that's right. Come on up here, doctor. Yeah.
Thank you. When I arrived at NeoMed in 2002, it was really just this kind of sleepy little medical school in the small town in Ohio that even many members of my own family, who are all from Northeast Ohio, had really never heard of. Even at Kent State University, where I was part of the BSMD program, many outside of our integrated life sciences program didn't know about the school or the programs that existed here. Once I graduated in 2006, I left the Northeast Ohio area, moved to California, and completed my residency in pediatrics with the United States Navy and did a little bit of active duty time with them as a general pediatrician. When my service was complete, my family and I made the decision we'd move back to Northeast Ohio, and I knew that training physicians, future physicians, was going to be a big part of my life, and I thought of no better place to do it than at my alma mater, NeoMed. But when I got back here and my first visit to the campus, I was shocked, not just at the growth of the buildings, the level of the institution, but really how this little sleepy med school I knew and loved when I left wasn't so sleepy anymore. Under Dr. Gershen's leadership, we had become a full-fledged medical university with 2 new colleges, on-campus housing, and a biomed STEM high school. This building we are in today was under construction, and once completed, would open NeoMed's door to the community in a way that had never been done before. The new buildings were not the only improvement that we saw during Dr. Gershen's leadership. Overall, all of the facilities that NeoMed students have currently far surpass those that were there when I was a student. I remember a majority of my time being spent in just Olson and Meschel Hall with very standard AV equipment. We had small study carrels that we shared with 3 other students that were essentially a desk, a lamp, and a locker. If we missed a lecture, there was no way to watch it on our own. Email was still a relatively new concept, so the idea of this virtual classroom was non-existent. The Wasson Center and its simulation activities that are now were state-of-the-art then and have just continued to grow were just over 5 years old. And Ralph Regula Center was the big new building on campus. Today's students don't realize how lucky they truly are to have just these amazing facilities and faculty that they're taking care of right now. But perhaps the most significant growth I saw upon my return was the growth in our reputation that occurred with Dr. Gershen at the lead. As alumni, we can feel proud that our alma mater is looked at as a leader not only in the regional and state level, but on a national level. We've certainly come a long way. Each alumni board meeting, I'm excited to hear about the continued advances that we're making as an institution and how we're developing into national leaders in the field of education. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to thank Dr. Gershen for leading our institution over the last 10 years. During his tenure, we've added over 1,900 alumni to our ranks. I can speak from my personal experience as the member of the Alumni Association Board of Directors that he's made it clear how important our alumni are to Neomed. I thank him for the numerous Saturdays you've taken out of your schedule to come to our meetings, to engage with us, to not only inform us of what's been happening with Neomed, but to elicit our feedback, to ask us for help in how we can continue to make this great institution grow. This doesn't even take into account the several alumni events off campus that you've made time out of your schedule to attend with our community outside of the alumni board. So Dr. Gershen, on behalf of the alumni board and all of my fellow Neomed alumni, we thank you for all you've done for Neomed and for our alumni community. We wish you nothing but the best in your well-deserved retirement.
Thank you, Doctor. Neomed has long been known for its educational partnerships. Under Jay's leadership, these expanded, adding new programs involving additional universities and colleges, including Cleveland State University and Stark State College. I'm honored to call on another friend of mine, Dr. Para Jones, president of Stark State College. Para?
Well, thank you, Doctor. You did a beautiful job. I also have been affiliated with Neo-UCOM, Neomed for a long time. My sister graduated from Neomed in the 80s, so a lot has changed. You know, we're standing in a beautiful building, and we could be oohing and awing over the architecture over the campus Jay's vision has created, but we heard from the doctor about the people part of Jay Gershen. And that's what I really want to talk about. Many of us, I feel like Bill's speaking on behalf of the hospital community. In many ways, my comments represent the education community in Northeast Ohio and across the state, because Jay has been a leader in both our region and our state in teaching all of us how to collaborate for the benefit of our students. So let me tell a story about that. Several years ago now, Jay and I were attending Senator Sherrod Brown's president's meeting in D.C., and we arrived early. It was my good fortune that I was on the plane with Jay, and we went to a Starbucks to share coffee and just to talk. That little meeting led to Jay coming to our campus and talking to us about pathways for Stark State students, community college students, to complete an Associate of Science degree, plus 14 credit hours of pure sciences, and be qualified to apply to the pharmacy doctoral program at Neomed. Well, that discussion, as we've all heard, Jay is a man of action. That discussion led to a meeting here at Neomed with Neomed faculty, Stark State faculty, and the result is, some years later, we've probably had 14 graduates of the Neomed PharmD program, and we probably have 14 Stark State College students currently enrolled. And I think that is collaboration in action. Thank you, Jay. So let me tell you a little bit about why Jay Gershen did that. He believes that the best education is education that serves students with affordable, seamless pathways and that encourages diverse students in our communities to aspire to higher levels of education, degrees, and career goals. And that's what Jay has helped to create. So yesterday I was on my campus, and our student clubs were all organizing and recruiting student members. And our chemistry club was there selling Beaker coffee cups. And when I told the students that I would be here today honoring Dr. Gershen, because many of our chemistry students are aspiring to come to NeoMed, either for the PhD program or the pharmacy program, or even the medical program through one of our university partners. So the students were so excited when I said, I'm buying one of those because that's going to be Dr. Gershen's gift. It has very little monetary value, but it carries the hearts and minds of many, many students who are benefiting from that wonderful pathway. So that's one Jay Gershen. But look around the room. I've said this to a couple of you. Look around, Jay, look around. This is the United Nations of Northeast Ohio. Cuyahoga County, Summit County, Stark County, Portage County, Medina County, I am sure many more counties, Summit County, can't forget. I mean, look at us. We are all here because Jay creates partnerships among all of us. And he has taught us how to collaborate for the better good of all the people we serve. So, in closing, and again, looking at the audience, I see colleagues from chambers and economic development boards. When have we ever heard a president of a medical university talk about economic development the way Jay does? Let's be honest. It's not very common, but he does all the time. He's always thinking about the value proposition of education to our economic region. And that has such great benefits. So what I've learned from Jay, and what I dare say all of us have learned from Jay, is that when we engage in the community, we lean in. We do it in an authentic way and in a way that creates a sense of collaboration we didn't have before. So Jay Gershen, thank you for being a friend of Northeast Ohio students across the state, Stark State College, and me. I am so honored to be your friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Para. Wonderfully said. Delightful. Jay Gershen's positive impact hasn't only been in Ohio, and his hard work to enhance the mental and physical wellness wasn't limited to the fields of medical education and practice. In fact, Jay has been steadfast leader across the country, serving on a number of national boards, including the Sullivan Alliance to Transform the Health Professions. Dr. Louis Sullivan, former U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, mentor and friend, was not able to be here today, but sent Jay this special letter. Dear Jay, as you approach the completion of your tenure as president of Northeast Ohio Medical University, I want to congratulate you on your many accomplishments. You have increased the racial and ethnic diversity of the student body and enhanced the opportunities for low-income students to become physicians, pharmacists, and other health professionals. You have been a valued and resourceful board member of the Sullivan Alliance to Transform Health Professions, leading the Alliance's program in Northeast Ohio. You have secured significant funds from federal, state, and private sources to strengthen the academic programs, grow the research enterprise, enhance student financial aid, and expand the institution's facilities. You leave the university secure in knowing that you have been a strong force for good, affecting the students, faculty, alumni, and staff of Northeast Ohio Medical University. As you enter the next phase of your outstanding career, I know you will continue to share your knowledge, your wisdom, and your generous spirit with others in support of their efforts in the health professions. I send you my best wishes on this special day. Sincerely yours, Louis W. Sullivan. Advancing basic science has also been core to Jay's efforts. His advocacy and insight as a member of Research America have been foundational to the awareness of these small steps in research matters. During his tenure, NeoMed added 2 research focus areas, and its research funding increased dramatically. Please welcome Mary Woolley, President and CEO of Research America, who came in today from Washington for this special occasion. Mary?
It's a true honor to say a few words on this important occasion. It's important to me personally to pay tribute to my friend and leader extraordinaire, President Jay Gershen. And it's important to Jay's fellow board members and the staff at Research America that I express for them their admiration and congratulations at what you have achieved during your incredible decade in office, Jay. I remember attending the groundbreaking for the Research and Graduate Education Building in 2011, and again attended its dedication in 2013. With 81,000 square feet of integrated, state-of-the-art research laboratory space, this building supports collaborative research among basic and clinical scientists. These 2 events and what's been accomplished here at NeoMed have brought well-deserved national attention to the research goals and aspirations of NeoMed. But speaking of the dedication, that was when I met Nate, the walking whale. Is he here? Are you here? Nate? Nate's not here. I have a word for Nate. I wonder, a question really, has President Gershen, Nate, taught you to dance? If not, there's still a few days left, or hours, and maybe he'll take a break and give you some lessons. I know he can dance, since I've seen him dance on a table. No, not what you're thinking. Not what you're thinking. On a boardroom table. When Jay was chair of the membership committee of Research America, he and his committee set a breathtakingly high goal for themselves. Does that sound familiar? He promised that when, not if, they met that goal, he would dance on the table, and he did. I wish I had a video to show you. People still talk about it. Jay has indeed been personally highly effective in working on boards and commissions with national impact. But he's very proud too, and we hear it all the time, of what's been accomplished at NeoMed and the work that's going on right now in research as well as education and community service. The impact of, for example, the Ready Zone, offering physical space for early stage biomedical companies, and as a portal to many other resources, including IRB certification for clinical trials and a comparative medicine unit and technology transfer assistance, really shows the way to turn research into reality with commercialization impact that includes 6 faculty companies, 19 patent applications, and more. These are the kinds of stories that drive the economy, make people pay attention, political actors and citizens alike. Now, in our over 30 years of friendship, almost 30, Jay has inspired me, challenged me, befriended me in good times and bad, and never failed to do as he said he would. As our nation is forging a way forward right now at a time of previously unfathomable assaults on learning and on science. We would all do well, I think, to consider Jay's example and embrace integrity, humility, and hard work in the service of something immensely important, carrying high expectations for ourselves and helping others to achieve their own. That's what Jay's all about. I salute you. Thank you.
Jay, with future fundraising goals in mind for NeoMed, I, for one, am happy there's no such video of you dancing that we can. As I mentioned, I was elected chair just a few weeks ago, replacing my friend and predecessor, Bob Klonk. With his various roles on the board in healthcare and Northeast Ohio business community, Bob has seen Jay operate on many levels. Please welcome Bob Klonk. Bob?
Thank you, Paul. You a little nervous? During my tenure as board chair, I was infamous for not following the script. Rod, my friend, would script me for most events, and I usually forgot to say what he had scripted because I sort of turned it into my own remarks. Well, Jay was a little nervous that that might happen today. I thought it was a roast, so I wrote some remarks. But Paul reminded me that he is now chair, and I have to follow the rules, okay? So I'm going to follow the rules out of respect for this wonderful event and see if I can make it all the way through, okay? During my 6 years on the board, 4 of which I served as vice chair and chair, I've obviously gotten to work closely with Jay. Many phone calls, many meetings. I got to see him up close and personal, the type of leader that he is. That's what I want to talk to you about today. A little bit the type of leader he is, but understand some of the accomplishments that he's made. I'm not going to read everything that's happened in his tenure, but if you think about what he saw here 10 years ago, all right, the potential for a thriving sciences university, health sciences university that graduates top-notch physicians, pharmacists, educators, public health professionals. You've heard before from the other speakers how he built alliances to get things done, because that's what kind of guy he is. He gets things done. He knows how to get people to understand the benefits of the community, serving the underrepresented. No one pushed diversity and inclusion more than Jay did over the past 10 years. And returning back to the community those that supported their pathways to practice. As I said, he celebrates diversity and inclusion, reflecting the communities that are being served, as was pointed out by the doctor that looking at this room. He empowers and supports faculty and students alike to have a collective passion to improve the health, the economy, and quality of life in Northeast Ohio. He has supported the volunteerism culture of employees and students at NeoMed. He's developed pathways for students in urban and rural communities by engaging their schools, colleges, and universities. As you heard from Mr. Considine, he cultivates relationships with the hospitals, community health centers, and other product and service providers. The number of partners we now have here at NeoMed is unbelievable in what Jay's been able to accomplish the last 10 years. He served on several boards, and several doesn't do it justice. I know at one point he was on 15 boards. And I said to him, I'm on 10, Jay, and I can barely handle 10. How are you doing 15? And it was a challenge, and he spent a lot of time doing it. But the point of it was not just about giving back to the community, but it was very important for Jay to help people understand how important NeoMed is. And he did that by serving on these boards and educating the board members and the organizations about NeoMed. He's led the way for public-private partnerships and funding. Among the list of his accomplishments, the Education for Service program in Northeast Ohio, which reduces student indebtedness, provides health care to underserved rural and urban communities, diversifies the healthcare workforce, and contributes to the economic growth. One of the things I was very interested in when I first joined this board over 6 years ago was the NeoMed CSU Partnership for Urban Health, a great success story that's been all over the news in the last month or so from one of the most recent graduates. A $166 million campus expansion through a public-private partnership that we did not use state capital dollars for. This expansion transformed NeoMed into a community-based university that includes a research building, a residential village, and NeoMed's Education and Wellness Center. The STEM schools, which you've heard about, is the first STEM plus M school in Ohio and first in the nation to be included on a medical university campus. The Ready Zone, and what that's able to do for us from an entrepreneurial standpoint. 2 new research focus areas. Retiring now after 10 years as president, Jay obviously leaves the university in a very good position to continue our excellence and our growth. The new center is expanding in the coming months by adding a drive-through to the Rootstown Community Pharmacy and a local dentist to serve the community. As your background as a dentist, I knew you were going to leave us at least one dentist once you got out of town. With over $12.5 million in support from the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, NeoMed broke ground for an 88,000 square foot medical office building that you saw when you drove up here. The 4-story addition will include an expanded Biomed Science Academy, medical offices, and the relocated Wasson Center. Construction has also begun for the state-of-the-art learning spaces for students and faculty, as well as for additional research lab space on the 4th floor of the Research and Graduate Education Building. And finally, NeoMed became the university partner for the Center for Excellence at the Johnson Controls Pro Football Hall of Fame Village. I thought these were great accomplishments, and this is a small list of everything he's done. But I wanted to try to figure the best way to describe Jay as a leader, the type of leader that he is. And I've thought about it a lot over the past week. And the best way for it, I had to go to my own notes, is to read a definition from a book, I think one of the best leadership books I've ever read in my 40 years, called Good to Great by Jim Collins. If you're familiar with Good to Great, you know they talk about level 5 leadership in Good to Great. Jay embodies level 5 leadership in his style and everything that he does. So I will read you the definition of level 5 leadership from Good to Great. Level 5 leaders display a powerful mixture of personal humility and indomitable will. They're incredibly ambitious, but their ambition is first and foremost for the cause, for the organization and its purpose, not themselves. That is the Jay Gershen that I know. I will miss you. You're in good hands. I will come out and visit you every so often. I'm not riding a bike up in those mountains, okay? But I'll have a drink with you. Jay, the good news is that while you'll no longer be with us, your legacy will live on for many years, not only in all the accomplishments that you've made here, but we also have to recognize your good looks and smiling face. So with that, I would now like Dr. Gershen, and I'm going to try best on this pronunciation, Ying Ho Lu, to join Paul and me on stage as we have the pleasure of unveiling Dr. Gershen's portrait, which was created by the artist Ying Ha Lu.
Thank you.
Ready? That's beautiful. You made him look good. You made him look good. All right, good.
Dear artist, how about a round of applause for her incredible work? Bob, thanks for your remarks and for your controlled ad-libbing. It's perfect as usual, right? Always on key. Our last speaker is Bruce Sherman, who is chair of the NeoMed Foundation. Please welcome Bruce.
I have the difficult job of wrapping up our program today. Jay Gershen has been a giant in so many ways, including his impact on philanthropic support. He set the stage for giving through his own generosity and was a willing partner with the NeoMed Foundation, as well as staff and faculty, to help raise funds. With Jay, the university launched its first ever comprehensive campaign, Shine On. The goal was to raise $40 million to help advance students, research and innovation, and community health. In perhaps the greatest testament to Jay's leadership, the results of our Shine On campaign exceeded our goal by over $4 million. With $44 million raised, 10% higher than our $40 million goal, and over 2,800 donors, we were united in helping NeoMed rise to new heights. Jay, to that end, we have two announcements today. As many of you know, and has been said, Jay has spent the last few months living among our NeoMed students at the Village. That alone says so much about you, Jay. What you may not know is that Jay lived in Suite 411, a very fitting number for someone who's full of information and always ready to share. And what better way to celebrate one who has spent an entire career committed to the advancement of students than to name Suite 411 in his honor. Jay, through philanthropic support that came directly from NeoMed's faculty and staff, Suite 411 will forever be known as the J. A. Gershen Suite. The image you see is on the outside of the suite. On the inside, another plaque will read, Dr. J. A. Gershen, NeoMed's 6th president, was so devoted to the personal and professional development of students that he decided to live among them in the Village before his retirement. Our second announcement also represents a fundraising effort, which included gifts from board members, Jay's leadership team, foundations, companies, and Jay's many, many friends. I'm also pleased to share that the NeoMed Foundation made a $100,000 grant to support this effort. Jay, we wanted to celebrate one of your main themes, bringing the community in by providing services and programs valued to the community. This facility, the new center, is the hub, with Sequoia Wellness, Rootstown Community Pharmacy, Summa Health, Biomed Science Academy, and so much more. Therefore, we're pleased to announce that as of today, we are standing in they're doctors, not technicians. The J. A. Gershen Atrium. Jay, this is a beautiful tribute to an exceptional leader. Let me take a moment to read the inscription on the accompanying plaque, which is located at the new center entrance. J. A. Gershen, DDS, PhD, served as Northeast Ohio Medical University's 6th president from 2010 to 2019. Dr. Gershen's 10 years of service excellence was a period of unprecedented growth for NeoMed. His vision and collaborative approach led NeoMed's campus transformation into one that the entire region would use. In adding 3 new facilities, the Village, the Research, Graduate, and Education Building, and the new center, Neomed enhanced the student experience, advanced research, and brought the community in by providing event and wellness services that benefit neighbors and residents throughout the region. With a fourth facility, the medical office building, in the works, Dr. Gershen has delivered on a mission to improve the health, economy, and quality of life in Rootstown, Portage County, and Northeast Ohio. Through support from the Neomed Foundation and a host of colleagues and friends, effective today, September 25th, 2019, the new center atrium is now the J.A. Gershen Atrium to celebrate his legacy at our university. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you, Bruce. What a wonderful and much-deserved tribute to Jay. How about a round of applause for all our speakers that we've had today? Okay, Jay, that's it. They're all yours. Para, I think you said it well. Jay, come on up here and address the United Nations that you brought here together today. Thank you.
I think for the first time in 10 years, I'm speechless. Wow, this is not easy. Bruce, let me start with you. What incredible leadership. This doesn't occur by one person. This occurs by everybody in this audience. We have such extraordinary teamwork, collaboration, and partnerships with this university, both inside and out. And I attribute this award, this incredible honor, to everybody here. And please give yourselves a round of applause, really. I'm also very honored that if you look up there and you see the Signet Executive Boardroom, I'm honored that I guess my name will look across and see the likes of Tony Manna, the likes of Don Taylor, and the likes of Jim Rulin, three incredible people who have really made this whole facilities possible through a public-private partnership. And I'd like to recognize them. I think they're all here. Would you raise your hand, please? Bill, I don't know what we'd do without that children's hospital. And to have you come up here and say those words means so much to me. Children's Hospital has been the foundation for Neomed for 46 years. We don't exist without you. Thank you so much. Corey, 4,400 alumni. Half of them practice in Ohio, and 80% of the pharmacists practice in Ohio. What an incredibly dedicated group. And a third of them serve as our clinical faculty, volunteering their time to teach our medical students. Thank you so much for your words. Yeah. Para, I don't know what to say about Para. She is extraordinary. And she is the whiz of the business community because she's in every single board. She knows exactly what to do. Her partnership is incredible. And I'm so proud that Neomed is really paving the way to be with a community college in such a productive way. Thank you, Para. Mary Woolley. If people really understand what Mary Woolley does, she runs a coalition that represents 125 million Americans. And that coalition is dedicated to making sure that medical research goes to a higher national priority. So the faculty that are in the audience here, please know that your tripling of our research portfolio was made possible because of Mary and the board and the staff of Research America working with other associations to do the same. Mary, thank you so much. And Bob and Paul, what can I say? You are the epitome of outstanding board members. We have other board members here that you saw before in the audience. I've worked for 20 board members in the last 10 years and 6 chairs, and I'm so incredibly honored to have that privilege. Bob, you did a great job in hiring my successor, and I want you to know that Dr. Langelo is going to do a great job. I've met with him. We've spent a number of days together. He's a real talent, and I'm really excited about the future of Neomed under his leadership. Thank you, Bob. Paul, you called me a mentor. You're my mentor. What's the Italian word? Consigliere? Okay. You've been my consigliere, and I can't thank you enough for that. I want you to know that we have, I believe, 3 original members of our board here today. One is Dr. Chandra Kohli. Please stand. Judith Barnes Lancaster. Judith. Judith. And Dr. Stephen Schmidt. Why am I mentioning them? Because they approved all of this 10 years ago with the vision, the incredible support, and the extraordinary collaboration with the board, working with the leadership team, made all of this possible. I thank you. I thank the 3 of you, and I thank the board's members that came after you. Thank you so much. Neomed would not be where it is today without, I think, the best leadership team in the entire country, and I mean that sincerely. It's a team. It works hard. They support each other, and they get the job done. And with the members of the leadership team of Neomed, please raise your hand and be identified. Yeah. You know what they say about sibling rivalry? I love you all equally. I had 2 daughters, and when they were young, they sit on my knee, and they say, who is the favorite dad? And I say, well, Valerie, you're the favorite oldest daughter, and Jenny, you're the favorite youngest daughter, you know. And I say that to the leadership team, incredibly talented. But there's one person I really want to thank in particular, and that is Michelle Mulhern, who is our Chief of Staff and Secretary to the Board. What a great job she's done. There's another person who was on the team who beat me into retirement by 6 months. And I'll tell you, none of this exists without Richard Lewis, because he was the brains behind it all. You know, I have really had a great time the last 6 months living with the students, and I've had an opportunity to get to meet them, to understand what they go through, and understand what all our efforts are really all about. They're phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal students. I also work out with them in the gym every morning at 5 o'clock, and we have a group that works out together. They keep me going. I want to leave after 10 minutes, and hey, you guys in the back, why don't you raise your hand? My gym mates back here, say hi. We have the best students anywhere. Community-minded, incredibly interpersonal, humanistic. And the students of this university started a free clinic, okay, a free clinic, which is very successful and serves Portage County. And thank you very much for that student body. This place doesn't run without the lifeblood of a university, and that's our faculty and our staff. Incredibly talented faculty. You've heard something about their research and their educational efforts, and I'll just put an exclamation point on that. But I want to say that our staff is equally talented, and in their way, they do the support services that are necessary to make all this happen. And please, a real rousing hand. And faculty and staff, raise your hand so we can acknowledge you, please. And of course, you've heard about our different boards, our alumni board and our foundation board. I'd like to turn to others who make this possible, and the others are the external community. You've heard a lot about that in some of the remarks. None of this happens without the partnerships that we have. And the people that work in government, at all levels of government, from the Rootstown trustees to the Portage County commissioners, and the Summit County commissioners, and the commissioners of all the other counties that we're involved with, to the state representatives, our congressional delegation, to 3 different governors who have had the privilege to work with, some for a short period of time because of my overlap. I thank you, government officials. Sometimes we don't appreciate our government very well, and I want to let you know that they support NeoMed, and without their foundational support, the funding that goes for the research projects, that goes for the buildings, that goes for our faculty and staff, this doesn't happen either. Thank you, government officials. You've heard about our 29 hospitals, or Bill summarized, he didn't tell you it was 29. We have 29 hospital partners, and an additional 100 or so outpatient clinical partners, including pharmacy chains, all around Northeast Ohio and throughout Ohio, that help to train our students and make them who they are. So I thank you very much, hospital partners and outpatient facilities. We have 9 universities and colleges, 9, that pipeline students to us, and without those, NeoMed does not exist. And I believe my colleague from Cleveland State University, in addition to Parry Jones, is here today, Harlan Sands. Thank you for coming. Yeah. I get a lot of joy out of the business community. And it was mentioned that I've served on 15 boards, but let me tell you something, it's not just boards. It's the extraordinary work that they do in Canton, in Youngstown, in Akron, in Cleveland, in Portage County, all around the region, statewide. And we have many of our leaders from those organizations here today. Would you raise your hand and be recognized for everything you do for economic development? Yeah. Steve, Denny, Ray, James, all of you that are here. I might have missed somebody, I apologize, but I really appreciate that. And working with the business community has been so helpful. You've been our megaphone for higher education in the business community. And of course, the nonprofits and the foundations that we work with, and the extraordinary support we receive, and in working with you on various kinds of programs. You know, this happens because of a team. It happens because of an internal team and an external team. It happens because of dedication. It happens because we believe in the mission. It happens because this is NeoMed and we're special. And I'm so privileged to have been part of this growth, this opportunity for the last 10 years. I've loved the job. I've loved the university. I've loved this community. I also love my family. And Carol and I plan on locating in Colorado Springs. She told me not to say this, but you're all welcome to come and visit. My cell phone stays the same. Sometimes it's harder to leave a position than it is to become involved in a position. But I must say that I really feel satisfied. I feel great. I feel great for this community. I've learned so much from this community. I mentioned to my leadership team this morning in our last meeting how I've learned so much about family, the importance of family, the importance of community, about giving back to community, about dedication to community, about Midwest nice. Thank you for being so nice to me. I really appreciate it. God bless.
Thank you all for coming. Please enjoy the beverages and the food that's out here. Please drive safely. Thank you for helping us make NeoMed what it is today. Good evening.